Rain lashed against the bus window. Headlights cut through the darkness, reflecting off the wet asphalt. Inside, Ken stared at his phone, oblivious to the storm outside.
A message flashed on the screen. "You win."
A grin spread across his face.
Finally, he'd beaten that impossible level.
Suddenly, a blinding light filled the bus. Ken looked up, confused. A truck, its horn blaring, careened towards them. Screams filled the air. Then, everything went black. Ken opened his eyes. Gone was the twisted metal and the smell of burning. Instead, he saw a vibrant blue sky framed by emerald leaves. He sat up, disoriented. He was in a forest, sunlight dappling the ground through the canopy. Birdsong filled the air, a stark contrast to the cacophony of the city he was used to. He remembered the crash, the blinding light. S1. Where was he? This wasn't the hospital.
Was he dead? Was this heaven?
He stood, his body aching. As he moved, a strange sensation washed over him. It was like a surge of energy flowing through his veins. He felt stronger, faster.
He raised a hand and a spark of blue energy crackled across his palm. Panic turned to wonder. This was impossible.
He concentrated, focusing on the energy. The spark grew, forming a ball of blue fire in his hand. He'd only ever seen this in games, in anime.
He was living a fantasy.
The forest, once beautiful, now seemed menacing. He was alone with no food, no water, and no idea where he was. Hunger gnawed at his stomach. He needed to find help.
He started walking, following the setting sun.
The strange energy, his cheat, pulsed within him. He could run faster, jump higher. He even managed to fell a small tree with a single punch, fueled by the blue fire.
He was surviving.
The forest opened into a clearing. A crude village lay ahead, smoke rising from a bonfire. Relief washed over him. Finally, civilization. But as he got closer, he heard it. Screams, the clash of metal. He broke into a run, his heart pounding. A horde of grotesque green creatures, goblins, were attacking the village. Villagers armed with pitchforks and knives fought back desperately. He couldn't just stand there, he had to help.
I can't just stand here and watch. I have to help them.
He charged into the fray, his fist connecting with a goblin's jaw, sending it flying. The impact was so powerful that the goblin's body twisted in mid-air before crashing to the ground. The hero's eyes burned with determination, knowing that this was just the beginning of a long and arduous battle. The blue fire, now an extension of his will, blazed around him. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a part of him, a manifestation of his inner strength and resolve. The flames danced and flickered, casting an eerie glow on the battlefield, making him look like a mythical figure from ancient legends. But there were too many. They swarmed him, their crude weapons leaving stinging cuts. Each goblin seemed more ferocious than the last, their eyes filled with a primal rage. The hero's muscles ached, and his breath came in ragged gasps. He knew he couldn't keep this up for long. He was outmatched. He needed to do something drastic. The weight of the goblins pressing down on him was almost unbearable. His vision blurred, and for a moment he felt a pang of despair. But then a spark of hope ignited within him. He remembered his secret weapon. He closed his eyes, focusing on his cheat. This was his last resort, a power he had only used in the direst of circumstances. The world around him seemed to fade away as he delved deep into his own mind, searching for the strength to activate his ability. The world seemed to slow down. The sounds of battle became distant echoes, and the frantic movements of the goblins turned into a slow, almost graceful dance. He could feel the power coursing through his veins, altering the very fabric of reality. He could see every movement of the goblins, every swing of their weapons, as if time itself had slowed. Each droplet of sweat, each flicker of flame was crystal clear. He could anticipate their attacks, dodge their blows, and strike with pinpoint accuracy.
I need to do something drastic. Focus. Focus on my cheat ability. Slow down time. I can do this. I have to do this. For everyone depending on me, for the future of our world. I can't let them down.
With time slowed, he could now see and react to every move, giving him the edge he desperately needed. The goblins, once a terrifying horde, now seemed like clumsy puppets. He moved with a grace and precision he had never known, cutting through their ranks with ease. The battle was far from over, but for the first time he felt a glimmer of hope. He could win this. He would win this.
With my newfound time manipulation, the battle became almost too easy. I could see every move my enemies were about to make, and I could counter them before they even realized what was happening. It was as if I was dancing through the battlefield, each step perfectly timed, each strike landing with unerring accuracy. I dodged attacks with ease, my blows landing with impossible speed and precision. The world around me seemed to slow down, giving me all the time I needed to react. My enemies moved as if they were trapped in molasses, while I moved like a gust of wind, swift and unstoppable. Soon the clearing was littered with unconscious goblins. Their once fierce expressions were now peaceful, as if they were merely sleeping. I stood amidst them, my heart pounding with the thrill of victory, yet a part of me felt a pang of guilt for having such an overwhelming advantage.
The villagers looked at him with awe and gratitude. They had been living in fear of the goblin raids for so long, and now, thanks to Ken, they could finally breathe easy. Children peeked out from behind their parents, their eyes wide with wonder and admiration. An old woman, her face etched with wisdom, approached him. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of curiosity and recognition, as if she had seen something like this before. She moved with a grace that belied her age, each step deliberate and filled with purpose. She spoke of a legend, a prophecy. Her voice was soft yet powerful, each word carrying the weight of centuries. She told of a time when darkness would threaten the land, and a hero with the power of a fallen star would rise to save them. A hero with the power of a fallen star would come to save them. The prophecy was ancient, passed down through generations, and now it seemed to be coming true. The villagers listened in rapt attention, their hopes rekindled by her words. She believed Ken was that hero. The villagers' eyes turned to him, filled with hope and belief. They saw in him the fulfillment of the prophecy, the one who would bring peace and prosperity back to their land. She told him of a place, the Cave of Whispers, where he could learn more about his powers. It was a place of great mystery and ancient magic, a place where the very walls seemed to speak in hushed tones.
The Cave of Whispers is a place of ancient magic, its walls covered in glowing runes. Each rune pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, casting eerie shadows that danced on the cave walls. The air was thick with the scent of old magic, a heady mix of earth and something otherworldly. As you venture deeper, you will feel a presence, vast and ancient. It is as if the very essence of time itself resides within the cave, watching, waiting. The deeper you go, the stronger the presence becomes, until it feels as if it is wrapping around you, guiding you. It will speak to you, not with words, but with feelings, with knowledge. You will understand things you never knew before, see visions of the past and future. The cave will reveal its secrets to you, if you are willing to listen.
Ken learned of his cheat. It was not just a random power that he had stumbled upon. It was something far greater, something that had been destined for him. The cave had shown him glimpses of his true potential, of the path that lay ahead. It wasn't just some random power. It was a gift, a responsibility. The ability to manipulate time itself was a power that came with great consequences. He had to learn to control it, to use it wisely, for the fate of many depended on it. It was the ability to manipulate time itself. He could slow it down, speed it up, even rewind it for a short while. The possibilities were endless, but so were the dangers. One wrong move, one misuse of his power, and the consequences could be catastrophic. He could slow it down, speed it up, even rewind it for a short while. The power was intoxicating, but he knew he had to be careful. Time was a delicate thing, and tampering with it could have unforeseen effects. He was a chronokinetic, a master of time. But mastering time was not just about controlling it. It was about understanding it, respecting it. Ken knew that his journey was just beginning, and the Cave of Whispers had given him the first glimpse of the challenges and responsibilities that lay ahead.
I emerged from the cave days later, changed. The darkness had tested me, pushed me to my limits, and in doing so, it had transformed me in ways I never imagined. I wasn't just Ken, the gamer, anymore. The cave had stripped away my old identity, revealing something deeper, something more profound. I was something more, something powerful. The energy coursing through my veins was unlike anything I had ever felt before. It was as if the very essence of the cave had infused me with its ancient magic. I helped the villagers rebuild, using my powers to speed up the process. With a mere wave of my hand, I could mend broken structures and heal the wounded. The gratitude in their eyes was overwhelming. They treated me like a hero, their savior. They showered me with gifts and praises, but deep down I felt a sense of unease. This wasn't my home, and these weren't my people. But I knew I couldn't stay. The world was vast, and my journey had only just begun. There were mysteries to uncover and truths to learn. I had to learn more about this world, about my powers. The ancient scrolls spoke of forgotten realms and hidden dangers. Each discovery only deepened my curiosity. The old woman's prophecy had mentioned a great evil, a darkness that threatened to consume everything. Her words echoed in my mind, a constant reminder of the looming threat. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had to stop it. The weight of this responsibility was heavy, but I couldn't turn away. The fate of this world rested on my shoulders.
Ken knew his journey had only just begun. The cave was just the beginning, a mere prologue to a much larger story. The path ahead was uncertain, but he was determined to face whatever challenges came his way. With each step, he felt the weight of his new identity, the power and the responsibility it carried. The foggy forest seemed endless, but Ken's resolve was unwavering. He was ready to face the unknown, to confront the darkness, and to carve out his destiny in this mystical world.
I bid farewell to the villagers, promising to return one day. I set off towards the rising sun, my heart filled with a mix of excitement and trepidation. I had a long journey ahead of me, filled with unknown dangers and challenges, but I wouldn't face them alone. I had the power of time on my side, and a determination to make things right in this new world. My adventure was just beginning.
With each step, Ken felt a sense of purpose growing within him. He was no longer just a gamer, he was a hero in a world that needed him. And so Ken's journey continues. The path is long and the stakes are high, but with the power of time at his command, he is ready to face whatever lies ahead. His story is far from over, and the promise of more adventures awaits.